Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Action Coach's webinar, 12 Steps to Pivot Your Marketing, or I think I also called it 12 Steps to Increasing and Adapting Your Marketing, whatever you want to call it. We're talking about marketing today. I haven't done many webinars on marketing this year, so apologies for that, but the time is right as businesses start to come out of hiding again, and we need to make up for lost time. We really need to put the pedal to the metal in terms of our marketing. So if you are looking for marketing, you're in the right place. This is a live webinar, so feel free to type questions into the question box. I'm not very good at looking at questions while I'm in flow during the webinar, but we'll certainly check those at the end. This session will last no longer than an hour and probably less than an hour. Just a little bit of admin. Today we are going to talk about the what. So we're going to go through like 12 steps to increasing your marketing. And within those 12 steps, there's lots of things to remember. What I'm not going to have time to do today is tell you all of the how, like how to improve your SEO on your website, for example, or how to do Google Ads analytics and that kind of stuff. But what this is going to be like a big, vast, fast checklist of stuff you need to be looking at to get your marketing on par for the remainder of this year and moving forward into next year. So that's the first thing. Don't expect that we're going to go in depth with the how. The second is take notes. I am going to go fast so that we finish within the hour. I don't send my slides out, so please don't ask me to send the slides. So you will need to take notes. Having said that, there will be a recording of this webinar uploaded to my YouTube channel at some point in the next few days, so you'll be able to watch it again and again. And finally, a lot of this stuff is going to seem obvious. You know, a lot of these things are like, well, yeah, of course, everybody should do that. But the question is, are you really doing it? So when I teach marketing to my clients, I get my clients to go deep. And what go deep means is to take one strategy, no matter how obvious or simple it is, but really focus on it, really do it right, really go deep on it. On the surface, these things are obvious, but when you really look at it and when you look at what you're doing right now, hopefully you'll see some gaps and some areas for improvement. All right, so let's get started. Enough of the preamble. Here are my contact details. Please follow me on Twitter and on LinkedIn, and I'll follow you back. Please visit my YouTube channel. I've got dozens of videos on there. I give a lot of free content away. Some are longer recorded webinars and workshops, like an hour or 2 hours. And some are just a few tips. If you do like the videos that you watch, if you could please like, comment, and share those. My teenage daughter is constantly reminding me that I need to get my views up on my YouTube channel. So if you do that, I'll do it back, all right? So I'll put these contact details up at the end. And also at the end, I'm giving what I've been doing, and I've been doing this really since the start of, well, I'm not going to use the C word, but since the start of all this mess. I've been gifting coaching sessions. So I allocate 5 hours a week doing free business coaching sessions for any business owner that wants to spend an hour with me one-on-one to go deeper into the strategies that they need to implement in your business. So if you're concerned about the how today, book in for a one-on-one with me at the end of this webinar. I'll give you the link, and we can strategize the growth for your business. There's no charge, there's no obligation, just value. This is how I sell my business, is by giving away value. You can't sell what I do because what I sell is invisible, but hopefully, you know, you'll get value from that session. So I'll put those details up again at the end. So this is 12 steps to pivoting your marketing. Pivoting meaning changing up what you do. The world is changing quickly. The environments that we work in are changing quickly. We all know we're moving towards a virtual environment, which, by the way, we've been doing for some time, but all the recent events have done is, I'm really trying very hard to avoid using the C word. Nobody wants to talk about it anymore. But we were moving in this direction anyway. We were going virtual anyway. All this has really done is force us to move quicker. And that's why it's really important that you're on this call today, because you need to get your marketing adapted, but quickly. And get those new results going as quickly as possible. It's a whole new landscape. It's a whole new environment. Keyword here on the right-hand side of the screen is now. Let's be doing it now. Start today. So step number one is we need to shift our strategy. And what I mean by that is we need to move probably away from so much outbound marketing and more towards inbound marketing, which is something we want anyway. Is we want our marketing and we want our advertising to be so good and our reputation to be so good that people are just getting in touch with us. I mean, an inbound marketing plan is really the best type of plan, isn't it? So we want people getting in touch with us because we provide a solution to our target market's problems, okay? And in this marketing, in order to create a more inbound approach, we need to be providing a better customer experience. We need to look more professional. We need to be more polished. And most importantly, we need to be adding value. We need to be demonstrating a solution to problems, not just talking about how good our products and solutions are or how long our company has been in business. We need to be talking in a different language now, and that we need to be talking in the language of our customers and what's frustrating them, what's stressing them out. What is going to cause them to get in touch with us and say, hey, can we please have a conversation with you about what you do, because we think, we know that we need help. And we also need to be shifting our marketing towards more team loyalty. Okay, so getting your customers tied in and getting them to see the benefits of working with us long-term and at greater volumes. So the first thing we need to do is shift our strategy from outbound salesy marketing to inbound solutions-based marketing. And so what we need to do is shift our message in order to make that happen. And I don't know what your message is at the moment, but typical marketing and typical sales is, hey, here's what we've got. Do you want to buy it? So sell and ask. And we need to shift that to help and give. Here's how we help businesses or people, because you could be a B2C organization. Here's how we help people who find themselves in this type of situation, in this type of circumstance. Here's how we solve these types of problems. We also need to be sensitive to what's going on out there in the world today. We need to be sensitive to, that there's a recession on. We need to be sensitive to job losses, and we need to be sensitive to the worries that some people have around the C word, okay? So we're all different. We all have a different view on the worry and the health concerns. We need to be sensitive to, that some people might have greater concerns than we have, for example. So we need to be empathetic, but we also need to be engaging, and we need to be informative. So in this world of virtual marketing, we need to be giving away more information. We need to be educating our customers. We'll talk about that a bit more. And then again, there's going to be a few repetitive phrases throughout this webinar. One of them is adding value. We need to be showing value in our marketing. We need to be giving away value as much as we can. That's what's going to create this inbound approach where customers see this and go, wow, these people really do add value. I need to get in touch with them. Great quote from Henry Ford here on the right. If it doesn't add value, it's waste. So when you look at your marketing content and you don't see that this is adding genuine value to your target audience, you might need to take it out. Okay, so let's get a little bit more specific in terms of marketing strategies. The obvious one is the website. Hopefully you all do have a website. I'm always skeptical of any business that doesn't have a website, okay, but it also needs to be a professional website. This is your shop front now, okay? So I was talking to a client the other day about their website, which is in dire need of upgrading. And they can track how many people visit their website and then leave, and how long they stay before they leave, and who clicks on the next thing and who doesn't click on the next thing. And what they've discovered is a lot of people are visiting their site and then leaving really quick. And that's kind of the same as if you owned a restaurant and somebody walks into your restaurant, looks around, looks at the menu, and leaves. If you had people constantly walking into your restaurant, looking around, and then leaving, you'd be on top of that pretty quick. You'd be stopping customers going, whoa, 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 what did you see that put you off? Or what didn't you see that put you off? You'd be making changes straight away, wouldn't you? So it's no different on the website. Website is now often the first port of call for anybody who wants to find out more about you. So we need our content updated regularly. We cannot have out-of-date content. You don't want people on there like, board members or directors or team members on there that have left. And you don't want old, graphics or old content. We need to keep it up to date. Also, updating your content regularly improves your SEO. So, Google are looking for new content all the time. So the more you update your website, the higher up the search results you should be going. And you want to build your SEO as well using content and keywords and all this kind of stuff rather than using tricks. There are ways to get around content to get up the search engine. And Google gets on top of these really quick, but then the hacks get on top of those security measures really quick again. So there's people out there, charlatans, companies that will help you get up the search results by using tricks. And I don't recommend it. Just put good content out there and good keywords and update your content regularly and you'll work up the search engines. Don't use those tricks. I can share you an example with you, but I'm not going to. I don't want to tell you not to do it and then tell you how to do it. Make sure your footers and headers are updated correctly, your addresses, your phone numbers, page headers, and all these sorts of things. You want your website looking like, when people look at your website, they think this is how you do your business as well. Okay, so if there are spelling errors in your website, if there are broken links, basically what it says is you're not detailed, you're not careful. Okay, so how you do anything is how you do everything. So make sure your website quality reflects the quality of the work that you do. So that means all your information is correct. Blogs and vlogs we'll talk about in a little bit more detail later on, but we want to be putting fresh content out there that's informative and educational. Okay, use your tags and your page headers and your descriptions. This helps you with search engine stuff and getting you up those search results as well. Okay, and don't use duplicates. Every page should have a different title. Your website needs to be very easily navigatable, so you can get around and you can find things and you can back page quickly, but you should be able to get anywhere within just a couple of links. So please make sure that your website is user friendly, and a good web designer will advise on that and help you do that. All your social media should be linked to the site. Now in the old days, so social media now is marketing strategy in its own right. But in the old days, social media's main purpose was to drive traffic to your website. And so in all of your social media, you want the URL to your site and also a call to action. A call to action meaning visit our site, click here, take advantage of this offer. You're telling the customer to do something. Calls to action is something that's going to come up a lot in the webinar today, but you want to be tying all your social media posts and ads back to the website. You want people visiting your website. Okay. Again, don't use duplicate content. Don't use other people's content, or if you are, make sure that you're referencing it. So it's absolutely okay to, booknote or footnote like you would see in a book, reference other material that you're using, but just don't copy and cheat and use some other experts' content. So you can provide links to back up your story, really. Use links to back up your statistics or to back up the studies that you quote. Finally, your pictures, your graphics, all of your imagery needs to be fresh looking, needs to be up to date, and it needs to be reflective of your target audience. And this applies to any marketing strategy that you're doing. Your marketing needs to talk to a certain type of person or a certain type of business, not what you like, but what your target audience like. Okay, so have the right content in there and have the right pictures and have the right website design that's going to appeal to your target audience. So my website, for example, needs to appeal to business owners and directors of companies. Whereas if you own a hair salon that targets, young women, for example, they're going to have different colors and different style and different font and obviously different imagery as well. So focus on your content, step up your content as well. Content marketing is everything. So Seth Godin's quote here, content marketing is all the marketing that's left. If you don't know Seth Godin, he's a marketing god. He wrote, what did he wrote? He wrote Permission Marketing and The Purple Cow. I think a lot of good books and a lot of YouTube stuff out there as well. So make sure you YouTube Seth for any tips that you want around your content. But certainly you want to be doing, blogs or video blogs and that kind of thing. And it sounds like a lot of work, and guess what it is, right? There's no shortcuts around it. Having said that, it doesn't need to be used. So, use copywriters. I've got a client that does a lot of copywriting. You want to be getting people to do a lot of this work for you so that you don't have to. Again, social media posts, step up the content, mix the content up. We'll talk a little bit more about that content moving forward. But we want to be more about the content, the information, the education, entertainment, or edutainment, as we like to call it. So it's educational and entertaining at the same time. But really focus on that content and churn out a lot of it. So what we're doing in Action Coach is we're doing a lot of live interviews that are getting a lot of views at the moment. So what we're doing is we're interviewing our clients, like Seth Rogen style podcast, people at opposite ends of the table, and we're just interviewing them and asking them some questions and then posting those videos up on LinkedIn and up on all our social media. Those seem to be getting a lot of views these days. That's my business and business coaching. Your business might get a different result. But live videos, hey, look, I'm out and about. I'm visiting this client today. I'm running this event today. I know we're not out and about much these days, but get out and about, bring your phone with you and do a video on your phone. You know, you don't need expensive equipment to do some of these live videos, but you do certainly want the quality to be there, the sound quality, the visual quality there, especially if you're doing things like interviews, because if you're going to invite somebody else on to do an interview with you, you don't want to look like a shabby operation. White papers and case studies, these are not new, but we want to make sure that we're not forgetting about them or overlooking them. White papers in particular demonstrate your knowledge, demonstrate your authority on the subject that you sell or the solutions that you solve. Case studies are proof. Case studies and testimonials, success stories, are all proof that you do get results for your clients. Because it's one thing if you say how great you are, it's another if your customers say how great you are, okay? Because they're the proof. And I don't mean anonymous testimonials, Mrs. Smith from Glasgow says. I'm talking about real case studies where you show the results that you're able to get for your customers, okay? Host webinars like I'm doing right now. Again, give value, give as much as you can, and they will come, all right? So I try to do a webinar at least once every 2 weeks, usually on a different subject, but then I record these webinars as well, like I am today, which then go up on the YouTube channel and people can watch them. And it just creates content, more content for you to put up on your YouTube channel and your website. Use checklists and tip sheets, just give away little bits of help, little bits of value that are going to improve somebody's life. And look, you don't have to give the farm away. You're not giving the farm away. People aren't going to take what you give away for free and then have massive success without you. All you're really doing is creating a greater need for you to help people implement and get the solutions that they're after. Okay, so more on the content. Use the EIEIO principle. So if you've not heard this one, well, content is king, but Bill Gates. But your content should be entertaining. Look, you may be in an industry where the material is dry. Okay, like marketing is a great example. Marketing is not the most exciting subject in the world. Some people love marketing, but I think most people in business, wish they could do without it. So it's not all that entertaining. So we just need to keep it entertaining. Your content needs to be readable. It needs to be entertaining. It needs to be enjoyable. In fact, there's a guy called Larry Winget. He's one of my favorite public speakers, and he's written a bunch of books. And his books have the best titles. Larry Winget is actually, post a picture of him over my right shoulder there. And Larry said, so his books have great titles. He does personal development, and one of his books is called Shut Up, Stop Whining, and Get a Life. He wrote a parenting book called Your Kids Are Your Own Fault. Just fantastic titles. And he said, selling a book is 90% the title. People do judge a book by its cover. If your title is interesting, if your title is eye-catching, people are much more likely to pull it off the shelf and buy it and read it. The title is more important than the content. Take that as you will. Feel free to disagree with it, but anyway, I'm just sharing what other people have said. But it does need to be entertaining, and it needs to be inspiring, which means it needs to get people to want to take action. Inspiring means you're getting people to take action, getting people to want to then go to the next step. Educational and informative, I'm not really sure what the difference is between those two, other than it makes up the EIEIO acronym pretty well. But yeah, you want to be given some information that's going to help people. And finally, it opens a dialogue. So good content, asking people for questions. Brad Sugars, the chairman and CEO of Action Coach, does a lot of video on social media, and he asks when you're watching, he asks you to type in where you are in the world. So people type in, oh, hey, it's, whoever from Mexico, or it's whoever from Canada, and whatever, wherever they happen to be. He's just getting people to engage. You want people to ask questions. You want people to tell you where they're from. You want people to tell you who they are. Get that engagement going, because when you get that engagement going, people feel like they have a relationship with you. People feel like they're actually engaging with you. And that's 80% of sales and marketing, is people feel like they know you, they like you. And that's where the inbound marketing starts to come in, is, hey, I want to get involved with this company, or I want this company to get involved with me and what we're doing. Blogs and vlogs. Okay, so just a few top tips. Well, top tip number one, which isn't actually going to be on my slide, I don't think, is get somebody else to do it. Okay, so the blogs take time. There's work involved, and you want to do it well, and it needs to be readable. So first things first is make sure it's got a good headline. We just talked about that. The purpose of a headline only has one purpose. It's to get the reader to read the first paragraph. Okay, what's the purpose of the first paragraph? To get the reader to read on. So the title, the headline, and the first paragraph, they need to be compelling. They need to be interesting. You can have a cliffhanger in there. The first paragraph can be, what I'm about to tell you is going to change your life. What I'm about to tell you is going to increase your sales by 50%. What I'm going to tell you is that. Get people excited and get them to want to read on. Okay. Recommended length of a blog is about 800 to 1,500 words. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have to start blogging daily or weekly, there is effort involved. Okay, use sub-headlines. Okay, so just basically you don't want a straight page of narrative, of paragraphs. People look at that. People aren't sadly reading as much as they used to. I read a lot, but most people aren't reading that much these days, and our attention span is pretty much non-existent, thanks to the internet and social media basically destroying our attention spans. We're easily distracted. When somebody sees straight text for an entire page or 2 pages, it's going to be hard for them to read it. So you just break that up with little sub-headlines, subcategories. Use the keyword search phrases. So if you're going to put your blogs on your website, it's a great opportunity to use those keywords that are going to drive up your search engine results. Okay, make it conversational, make it easy to read, make it informative for your target audience. Okay, so you need to talk in your target audience's language. Don't talk in your own technical, industry-specific, esoteric language, but talk in plain, easy-to-read English, which is why sometimes it's important to have a copywriter do it, somebody that's an expert at this kind of stuff, and make it engaging as well. Okay. And it should have some graphics and images. People like to see pictures, and then put a caption under the picture, because a caption, I think a caption is 3 times more likely to be read when there's a picture above it. So if there's something important that you want your reader to see, stick a picture above it. A few interesting statistics here on the right. Small businesses with blogs generate 126% more leads. B2B marketers using blogs generate 67% more leads, and websites with blogs have 434% more indexed pages. Basically what that means is you're much easier to find on searches when you've got blogs. Okay. Finally, with blog, have a strong call to action. So again, at the end of the blog, tell your reader to do something. Click here, get in touch today, take advantage of this offer, ask us a question, book an appointment. There's lots of different ways to do a call to action. If you want to find out more about calls to action, it's really important. Again, this applies to any of your marketing strategies. You've got to have a call to action. You're telling the customer to do something. Just get in touch with me. We can talk about it one-on-one and how to create good calls to action for you. And then finally, again, in your blog, make sure you've got links to whatever other resources you want to be driving your reader to. Okay, add videos to your mix as well. Add videos to all of your strategies. Again, host a live interview, interview a customer, interview a supplier, interview another member of your team, interview a business that you're working with, like a strategic alliance. Okay, regular podcasts as well. Now, I don't do podcasts myself, I have to admit, because I don't listen to podcasts. I find them too long. But you can do podcasts. They don't need to be that long. But there are a lot of people out there who are more auditory. They prefer to listen. They're going to like the podcasts. You've got people out there who are more visual. They like to watch. So you've got to have videos for them. You've got to appeal to different people who have different learning styles and different communication styles. Little daily check-ins or tip talks, okay? So a minute and a half. I didn't say TikTok, I said tip talk. Okay, so a minute to a minute and a half on a video, could be just using your phone. We say, hey, listen, I just had an idea, just wanted to share this idea with you, and your target audience, you're gonna pick up on that. Wow, you know, every day this guy's coming up with a new tip, okay? A new, just something to think about or something to implement, okay? Make sure you focus more on the content than you do on the production value. I do think production value is important, but it's not important all of the time, and it's not as important as the content, okay? Don't worry about getting the best equipment and having the green screen behind you and the lights and the studio if you don't have good content to put out there. People are gonna switch off real fast. Having said that, if you don't have good production value, if the picture isn't good or if people can't hear you, they're gonna tune out as well. And by the way, just one other point on the production value, mix it up, okay? So there might be times, there's times where I do videos here with a proper camera on a tripod and a flip chart in my office. And there's times when I just get a phone and I'm just doing a quick minute and a half selfie on a phone video, okay? So again, sometimes it's authentic and real and gritty, and sometimes it's staged and rehearsed. You can do both, mix it up, okay? But make sure that what you're doing is relevant. Don't just try and think of content, oh man, I've got to put something else out there today. Think about what your target audience are going through. Again, remember back to the first slide where I said be empathetic. Think about what's causing your customers pain right now. What are the key frustrations in your industry? What are your target audience frustrated with your competition? So what are your competition doing to your potential customers right now? You can capitalize on that by putting relevant content out there that addresses that. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Again, if not, get in touch and we can go deeper on things like that. Basically what we're talking about is a unique selling proposition. Having a good USP, saying, look, here's what separates us from the competition. Here's how we can help you that maybe you're not being helped right now by your current supplier. Mix it up a little bit. You know, this is hopefully a 45-minute, 60-minute webinar, but also I do 30-minute videos and I do 2-minute videos. Just mix it up, okay? Some people like longer stuff, some people like shorter stuff, okay? And then always measure how many people are, watching it. I look at my YouTube channel and I look at the number of views. What type of videos are getting the most views? Is it the longer ones? Is it the shorter ones? Is it the thumbnail picture that goes with the video? Okay, so you got to look at all these different things and see where am I getting the most engagement? Where am I getting the most views? Okay, and then build on what is getting the most views. So again, I know I'm stating the blatantly obvious, but do more of the stuff that people are watching and less of the stuff that people are tuning out of. Okay, don't do what you like, do what your customers like. Look at your social media really closely. Again, this might be obvious, but are we really doing it? Okay, so first of all, you need to realize that different social media platforms reach different people and have different methods of communication. So what you should be posting on Facebook may be very different than what you're posting on LinkedIn, which may be very different than what you're posting on Instagram, for example, okay? So I love Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a great app for churning out one post to multiple social media platforms, but there are often times when I won't shoot the post out to Twitter, for example, because Twitter needs something slightly different because it's a slightly different audience, slightly different communication measure and communication method. So make sure you realize that different platforms have different uses, okay? Make sure that all your content and posts are shareable. So I'm not a Twitter expert, but I'm pretty sure that if you use up all of the characters that you have available to you in Twitter for your post, for your content, nobody can share it and add like a comment to that because you've taken up, or tag, right? So it's hard to share and then tag if you used up all the character length. So you need to make sure that your posts are shorter than the character limits and that people can share it, tag it, use the hashtags and all these kinds of things, okay? So again, use the hashtags and everything to tie people back into your website as well and get people sharing it so you can get more viewers, more followers, et cetera, et cetera. Once again, this applies to all marketing. Have a sense of urgency, have a strong call to action, get people to get in touch now, have a limited time offer. Okay, so here's why you need to get in touch today. Here's why it's important you start speaking with us today. Here's what's happening in your marketplace. Here's what's happening in your landscape. In order to avoid this happening to you, you want to get in touch with us today. So make sure you've got a good sense of urgency in all of your marketing messages. Okay. Focus on the quality of the content, not just the quantity. I know there's a lot to do, okay? So with the blogs and the vlogs and the posts and the websites and everything, there's a lot to get out there, but don't put it out if it's not quality, okay? Please let me just repeat that. Don't put it out if it's not quality. It's not worth it. If people don't like what you put out today, they're not gonna look at what you put out tomorrow, okay? If they don't like it today, they're gonna stop watching you, or they're going to unfollow you. Ask questions to get people engaged. Get people talking to you. Okay, so post a challenge out there. Get people to do something and then come back tomorrow and post whether they did it and how did it work. Get live sessions going up, live Q&A, interview people, talk to people, so forth and so on. So you can type questions in this question box and I can engage with you. On a webinar, at least on my webinar software, I don't think I can actually unmute people and bring people in, but I can do group Zoom calls, and I do group Zoom calls for workshops and things where you can just engage and talk to me, and we can do some group coaching and that kind of thing, okay? And use the 90-10 rule. So the 90-10 rule basically says 2 of your social media platforms should probably be taking up 90% of your time. Okay, so you can't be everything to everybody, and you shouldn't be everything to everybody. Marketing needs to be focused on your target audience. And so you don't need a dozen different social media platforms. Focus on a couple of them that are most used by your target audience. Focus on the content and the methods of using those things. And then the rest of the social media should also take up 10% of your time. So you're putting content out there elsewhere, but focusing most of your time on the most important platforms to you. Okay, and then again, measure your progress, measure everything that you're doing. Use the dashboards, use the analytics. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but basically you just need to use that stuff, or get your experts to use that stuff so you know what's working and what isn't working. Just take a quick drink. Okay, so boosting Facebook. So you're going to need Facebook experts for this. I'm not going to give you the how today. Okay, I'm not sure you want the how today. Okay, but Facebook posts, boosting posts or creating ads. Now, I've used different social media experts over the years, and depending on who you ask, they're going to tell you something different. Unfortunately, you've got to go with people that you trust are going to give you the best advice. But some say that boosting a Facebook post is more effective, will get you more views and more clicks. Others say create an ad from scratch. Do one or the other, or here's a great idea, do both and then test and measure which one works better. But first of all, you got to set a budget for Facebook, and you got to choose your target audience. What I love about Facebook marketing is it's very, very targeted. You set the demographics. Your ads are only going to reach people who fit your target audience. Do the A/B test. So A/B test is going to come up from time to time. All this means is running 2 ads at the same time with different somethings, either with a different headline or a different picture or a different offer at the end. One thing is different. Run 2 ads at the same exact time, but one thing is different. See which ad gets the better response. That's going to tell you which image is better, or which offer is better, or which headline is better. This works really well with headlines. We used to do this before the internet. We would run 2 ads in the same newspaper, and the ads would be the exact same ad, exact same content, except for the headline. The headline would be different, and then we learn which is the better headline. And then that's what makes us marketing experts, is through testing and measuring. So make sure you're doing 2 different things in the same platform at the same time, with one thing different that you want to be measuring, and that will give you your answer, okay? Don't use too much text. Don't overcomplicate things. Our attention spans are so short, we cannot be reading, a lot of text or a lot of narrative in your ad, okay? Have a strong call to action. I'm not going to beat this one to death, but make sure you're telling people to click or hit a button. Make sure your ad is eye-catching. It's got those buttons, it's got those links to click, so that you're getting people to do something. Eye-catching is obviously very important. And again, have links to your website or to your event. So I do use Facebook ads when I'm running events. And I find that works really well because people click on the event, takes them straight to a registration page, like for example, Eventbrite, or it takes them to a landing page on my website so they can book in from my workshops, okay? Your imagery should not be what you like, it should be what your target audience like, okay? So with any marketing, you really need to understand what appeals to your target customers visually. That's the type of imagery that you should be using, and it should be quality, okay? Make sure your branding is strong as well, okay? So have your brand there, your company name, your logo, your company colors, everything should be consistent. So when I see your imagery and your branding on a Facebook post and I click the link and it takes me to your website or your events page, I should be seeing the same branding, the same colors, the same font consistently throughout. Finally, again, measure everything you're doing, track your performance, use the Ad Center dashboard in Facebook. You may need to go through a learning process to really understand what this information means and how to respond to it. Okay, moving forward quickly because we are running out of time. Build your database. I can't stress enough the importance of having a good CRM system to keep track of all your customers and what they're buying from you, what their profiles are, and how you're communicating with them and emails and that kind of thing. So you want to make sure there's plenty of opportunities for people to sign up and subscribe to your email database. Okay, so have those links everywhere. Click here to, to get our newsletters, to get our email updates. So this is what I mean is your opt-in pages, okay? So have the opt-in opportunities in as many different places as you can, and keep it simple. So over here on the right, you'll see this little graphic. It basically says, get people to sign up for your emails by offering something of value, okay? So it's not just sign up for our emails so we can spam you. It's sign up for our emails and you will get promotions, ideas, information every day, every week. So there's a sales author and sales trainer in America called Jeffrey Gitomer, who wrote the Little Red Book of Selling. Jeffrey Gitomer does a weekly, what he calls an e-zine, which is basically a weekly electronic magazine. And every week he just send you an email with a sales tip, something that's going to help you improve your sales. Now that's just awesome. He doesn't try and sell you anything. You just read the sales tip and hopefully you implement it and improves your sales. But there's links in there and a call to action if you want to find out more. If you want to sign up for one of Gitomer's programs or buy one of his books, it's easy to do so, okay? But you'll get value from it, and that's why people will sign up for the email subscriptions, okay? Less is more. Only ask for information you need to know. Just ask for the name that you need, ask for the email address. You don't want to have to enter a lot of information to sign up. And make sure you have your privacy policy in there so that people know you're compliant with whatever data protection or policy or privacy policies. Have a welcome email. So when somebody does opt in, are they getting an email straight away saying welcome? And is it a good, we use the word stellar, is it a stellar welcome email? Well, these guys are professional, okay? You want it to be slick and professional. As soon as I sign up for emails, I want to get a good welcome email, not just a generic, thank you, you've been subscribed. That's no good, okay? Get people happy that they signed up and looking forward to the next communication. Have valuable email content. Just have valuable content in all your marketing. I don't think we need to expand on that one. Have an email preference center. So get people to have the choice of what they want to opt in for. What types of emails do they want to get from you? And what about text messages as well? We're not really going to talk about texting today, but I work with a lot of businesses that get great results through text marketing. So you may want to have that as part of your email preference center. How do you wish us to communicate with you? Okay. Optimal email delivery. Make sure you've got a good CRM system that does emails well. I use SoFront CRM and I use Salesforce CRM as well. Infusionsoft is good. MailChimp. I don't know if MailChimp is great or not. I think MailChimp is probably pretty cheap and it was one of the first ones on the market. But go and quality check these things and measure a few of them and trial them and decide which one's best for you. But you want it to be a good email service that can make it easy for people to unsubscribe, and you want to make sure your emails aren't going into junk mail and all this kind of stuff. Okay, and then keep your CRM systems up to date. Clean your list regularly. Get rid of all the dead weight. Make sure whatever CRM system you use can track the open rates, the unsubscribe rates, so you can see who's been unsubscribed and which emails are getting bounced back because a person has left an organization. You want to make sure you're on top of all that stuff, so you're sending emails out only to live target audiences who are clicking and opening your emails. Okay, and again, just be transparent with your privacy practices. Okay, so a little bit more on email marketing. We're on to step 10, not long to go now. Hopefully you're taking plenty of notes and getting some ideas. Frankly, if you get one idea that's going to help your marketing, then I've done my job here, but obviously we're giving away a lot more than one idea. Make sure you know your audience. Again, this applies to all marketing. Okay, so 80% of marketing is understanding your target market. 80% is understanding your target market. You want to be really clear on that. If you don't understand your target market, you're never going to get the content right or the messages. Okay, test and measure what's working with your email. Again, you can do an A/B test with emails. Send email A to half of your database and send email B to the other half at the same exact time. The time is important. You got to send them at the same time, because otherwise, if you get different responses, then it could be because you sent it at different times. So you want to send it at the same time, but with a different subject header, for example, or a different picture. And then you can measure which one gets the best open rates, click rates, etc. Personalize as much of the content as you can. So if you can use the person's name, use the person's area, use the person's business they're in. Good email software enables you to, put in those tags so that it pulls information from the CRM system, sticks it into a customized email. Okay. Look at how often and what time you should be sending emails. If you ask 20 different people when's the best time to send an email blast, you're going to get 20 different responses. Okay, so the only way to know when is the best time and how often you should be sending emails is through testing and measuring. Over time, track how often you're sending the emails, the content, the day and time that you're doing it, and record the results. And over time, it'll build a picture for you of when are the best times to be sending emails. And then again, that might change over time. So just because, mornings at 10 a.m. are the best time to be sending emails now doesn't mean that that's what's going to be like a year from now. Okay. Make sure that you are also focusing on your customers, your VIP customers, your loyal customers, what we call your A-grade customers, your raving fans. They should be getting emails maybe just for them, customized emails for them, thanking them for their loyalty, giving them added value, special offers, things just for them. Email's a great opportunity. Also, sending customized emails based on what people have bought from you in the past. Okay, so I can't really think of an example at the moment, but if somebody buys the red car, you might want to be selling them accessories that match the red car, as opposed to if somebody buys the bicycle, you want to be sending them an email that's offering them accessories for the bicycle, if that makes any sense. Okay. Make sure you're GDPR compliance. That was the buzzword of a couple years ago, was GDPR. It's still around. I don't know if it's as big a deal as it should be, but I would certainly broadcast the GDPR statement. So if you have a GDPR policy, that should be on your website and should also be on your little fine print at the bottom of your emails. Okay. And again, I think I mentioned this already, is segment your audiences. So different customers should be getting different emails. Different target audiences should be getting different emails. So you may have more than one target market in your industry that you are selling to. So let's say you sell to domestic and you also sell to business. They are very different types of customers, and they should be getting different email messages. Don't be sending the same email to everybody. I might be stating the bleedily obvious here, but are you actually doing it? Okay. Make it clear who you are and what you want. So when you're sending emails out, it's okay to say to people, here's what we do. Here's what we want you to do. We want you to click here. We want you to read this. We want you to take some form of action. Be really clear on that. That's okay, as long as you're also providing value in the message. Okay. Landing pages. So landing page, if you don't know what a landing page is, hopefully you do by now, but a landing page is a specific page, usually on your website, that your marketing links take people to. Okay, so it pops up. So click here to find out more about our event coming up next week. The landing page will be specifically around that event. You can have a landing page for recruitment. So my clients who are recruiting, my clients are all growing fast. They're hiring like mad. So they will have a landing page on their website, which is a recruitment page. So when they put out a recruitment ad, people click on that link because they're interested in applying for the job, and it doesn't take them to the homepage of their website. It takes them specifically to a page that says, thank you for responding to our ad. So it's a customizable page specifically for the purpose of bringing the customer to that. So the message on the landing page matches the ad. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Have directional cues. So point people to where you want them looking on a landing page. This applies to any page on your website. Have arrows, have graphics, have attention-grabbing headlines to get people to read what you want them to read, okay? Demonstrate the product or service in action. Use videos for that. Show how it actually works. Get rid of anything else on the landing page that's going to cause any distractions. Obviously, you want to have a link to the main page. You want people to be able to get in touch with you. Click here to get in touch. Click here to enter your details. Click here to download a white paper or a case study. Click here to watch this video. You want to get people to do things, but remove any other distractions, okay? Social proofs or testimonials, you definitely want to have those. Have good, clear, compelling content and copy that's easy for people to read. And again, keep it fast, keep it short. People's attention spans are too short, okay? Make sure everything is mobile friendly as well. So anything on your website, landing pages especially, people are doing more on their phones than they are on computers. So I've got an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. They're hardly ever on computers. My 18-year-old daughter doesn't even own a laptop. She does everything on her phone. And believe me, she is a great customer. She spends money, she's shopping around, and if she goes on a website that isn't mobile friendly, she tunes out because she will find a mobile friendly site that's in competition within seconds, and she'll buy from them instead. So make sure everything is fully mobile optimized. Once again, test and update your landing pages regularly. Landing pages, make sure you have templates. So you don't need to change up your landing pages a lot. They just might need updated for different offers or different events that you're doing. So save your templates and then just update those as easily as possible, okay? And then finally, step 12, Google AdWords. This is quite technical stuff. You'll be glad to know I don't know the technical stuff, and I'm not going to give you the technical stuff. But top tip number one is find somebody who does. Hire a good, reputable company. I can certainly give you some recommendations. Just get in touch with me on how to make the most out of Google AdWords. What I can tell you is my clients who use Google Ads and pay-per-click and all this kind of stuff get amazing results. The more money they put into it, the more business they get. They can't put money in it fast enough. So it really does work when you do it right. Top tip number one, stating the obvious, but I can't tell you how many times people get this wrong, is to make sure your time zone and your currency are set up correctly. Google is a global company, okay? Make sure you're clear on who your target audience is and the budget that you want to spend. All these things, they take you through when you do set it up, or the expert that you hire will certainly take you through these things. And make sure you're using Google Analytics. So that needs to be all set up correctly. Google Analytics is going to give you amazing marketing information, more information about the effectiveness of your own marketing than you've ever had before. So make sure you're on top of that kind of stuff, okay? Use small ad groups, okay? So do multiple ad groups on different target markets with different keywords, different headlines, different messages, so you can measure all that stuff. Don't just rely on one type of ad or one keyword campaign. You want to do multiple things at the same time, like an A/B test. Okay, getting into the more advanced stuff here. You want to be looking at smart bidding. So smart bidding is basically an automated process. The way Google AdWords works is you bid on certain keywords against your competition, so that when people search on those keywords, your ad is more likely to come up than somebody else's. And this can all be automated based on certain criteria that you set up with Google, and it's a really good way to do it. So again, with a pay-per-click bidding and all these things, you want to make sure that it's automated as much as you can, and that you're measuring both your clicks and your impressions, and obviously ultimately the results that you get. Measuring your conversion tracking as well. So how far are people getting? Where are they clicking? Are they clicking to the next step? Measuring all this kind of stuff. Google does all of it for you. Okay. Focusing on your audiences. Who's clicking? Who's looking at these things? Which keywords are working the most? Get really deep on the analytics, or get somebody who can explain this stuff to you in plain English so you can understand where you need to make the changes, okay? Test your ad copy, okay? So run different tests at the same time. I think we've talked about that. And again, use high quality landing pages. So make sure that don't put a great Google ad out there, okay, or a great pay-per-click campaign only to send people to a substandard or out-of-date landing page. Make sure that the whole process stays professional, stays seamless, and stays consistent with your branding and your message, okay? Use the search terms report as well. What are people searching on? I can tell you right now, people don't search for business coaching, which is my industry. People search for leadership, marketing, business planning, business evaluation, financials, business education, things like that. The keywords that I'm looking for in my search results are not what you would think. So if I said business coaching as a keyword, an optimized keyword with Google, it would be a waste of time, and it would certainly be a waste of money, and it would drop me down those results because people aren't searching for that as much. Okay. All right, so just to finish up, but to summarize, okay, number one, do more marketing, scale up your marketing. We should be doing more marketing than ever before. 50% of your time and budget should be allocated towards marketing. A business is nothing more than a sales and marketing machine. If your marketing machine is not up and running consistently and at high power and effective and being measured, then you've got a lot of work to do in this area, okay? Update your 90-day plan. Get with Action Coach. Our 90-day planning is coming up. It's coming up in a few weeks. You can get involved. It's not that expensive because we're doing it virtual rather than a live venue, which basically means I don't have to feed you. Okay, so because I don't have to feed you, it's not so expensive. Get in touch with me or go on my website and book in for 90-day planning. It's the third week of September, and you'll be planning your quarter for the next year. And that obviously includes writing your marketing plan, okay? Shift how and where you market. Who are you targeting? How are you targeting them? What's the content for that? Everything's changing now. You need to make sure you're on top of where you're marketing. Shift your message as well, okay? So look at the message you're putting out there now. It's gonna have to be different than it was a year ago or 2 years ago. Make sure you reallocate that budget, okay? So you should have a marketing budget, which could potentially be 50% of your revenue. Certainly 25 to 50% of your budget should be allocated towards marketing. Look at where you're spending it. Do you need to shift some of that to Facebook or away from Facebook to Google, and or should you be doing more email and focusing on that? Test and measure, and based on what you measure, then adapt what you're doing. Marketing is maths, okay? So in this virtual age, there's no excuse for not measuring your marketing because you get all that information back, your clicks, your opens, your conversions, all of that kind of stuff is measurable. So make sure that you're measuring it. All right, so to wrap up, go through all your notes right now. We do this at the end of any one of my webinars or workshops. What are 5 things you need to be taking action on right now? Feel free to type those into the chat box, into the Q&A box, so that we can see what actions are you going to take. What were your top takeaways from today? What are the top 5 things you need to know, or you need to do, sorry. While you're doing that, here's a reminder of my contact details. If you want to book a one-on-one session with me, I'll put that link up in a minute, but you can just go on my website. So you just go on my website, which is Andrew Goldberg, actioncoach.com/Andrew Goldberg, or connect with me on social media. We'll book in a one-on-one. We can go deeper on any of the areas that we talked about today and strategize how to implement them in your business. Again, there's no charge, there's no obligation. I just want to make sure that you're actually implementing so that my presentations don't become shelf help, meaning looks great today, sounds great today, but it goes on a shelf and tomorrow you go back to doing what you've always done. So here's the link. Just go on calendly.com/Andrew Goldberg Action Coach. You can book in a one-on-one session with me for 1 hour. It goes straight into my calendar. We'll sit down, we'll talk one-on-one and get the stuff implemented. All right, so unless there's any questions or comments, don't see any coming through, but then again, maybe I'm not looking in the right place. But we'll end the webinar now with 5 minutes to spare. Thanks again very much for coming on the call today. Please email me or get in touch with me in any of those methods, and I'll help you out in any other way that I can. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.